the tide of World War II turned, the once mighty Nazi Germany found itself on the back foot, facing the relentless advance of the Allies from all sides. To the east, the Soviet Red Army pressed forward with a fury born of years of brutal conflict and a desire for retribution. From the west, American, British, and other Allied forces pushed towards the heart of Germany, having liberated France and crossed the treacherous terrain of the Ardennes. In the dwindling days of the Third Reich, the German soldiers, many of them little more than boys drafted into a war they scarcely understood, huddled in the ruins of their country. The relentless Allied bombings had transformed cities into graveyards of twisted metal and broken stone. Hope was a rare commodity, as scarce as the food and ammunition they had to ration with extreme care. The once glorious Wehrmacht, which had marched across Europe with terrifying efficiency, was now a shadow of its former self. Their uniforms, once a symbol of pride and power, were now tattered and muddy, badges of desperation rather than authority. The Luftwaffe, which had once ruled the skies, was now outnumbered and outgunned, their pilots taking to the air in a fatal dance with the ever-increasing swarms of Allied fighters and bombers. As defeat loomed, Hitler's commands grew increasingly erratic, demanding impossible counter-offensives and scorched earth tactics. The once feared SS, fanatical in their loyalty to the Führer, became the agents of terror, not only for the enemies, but also for their compatriots, executing those who dared to desert or even speak of surrender. In the final days, the German soldiers faced a grim choice: continue to fight for a lost cause and die in the service of a madman, or attempt to surrender and risk the wrath of their own side or the vengeance of the conquering armies. Many chose to fight on, not for Hitler or his twisted vision, but for their families and the hope that they might somehow survive to see them again. In the end, the German soldiers were not just fighting the Allies, they were fighting the inevitable passage of time and the collapse of their own world. When the unconditional surrender was finally signed, it was less an act of capitulation than a weary exhale of a nation that had been holding its breath for too long. The war was over, but for those who survived, the struggle to understand and atone for what had happened would last a lifetime.